Well, you're welcome.
To the barber shop.
You're welcome.
To the barber shop.
Barbershop podcast. There's a good mix. A nice hearty mix in the headphones is what we love here at Barbershop Podcast. It is another Wednesday in the great city of Hamilton, Ontario. I am your guest, Kevin Barber. Your host, Kevin Barber. And this is, of course, Barbershop Podcast. We're from Boxo Studio, and we give you the very best in live, original music each and every week. Had a little bit of a technical glitch, as some people like to say. Not a problem, just a glitch. That's what we call it. And it has been rectified. It is a smooth running machine once again. And we got a full house tonight. We got Gary and Ryan back in the control room, being in control, taking control. How are things, guys?
Very well.
Good. Now, Gary has the microphone all the time now. Ryan switched back to doing audio, mixing the sound. And Gary is doing the producer's role. He is taken to it like a fish to water. Very good. Our ratings are through the roof for the episodes. He was manning the till for, not the till, the tiller. That's it. We don't let Gary near the till because it would be empty. It's like playing Monopoly with your dad. He cheats all the time. Not that mine does, but yours does. All right. Got a cool guest tonight. You have had a number of non-Hamiltonians in the last week, except for, of course, the big Hamiltonian, the man himself, Tommy Swick, who was in last week. We had a couple guys from Niagara and a couple guys from, not from Hamilton. And tonight's guest, all the way from London, Ontario, which is constantly being, branded the prettiest, the nicest, the richest, the wealthiest. It's like your older brother who, everyone likes more than you because he's a little richer and did a little bit better at school. That'd be London, Ontario. It is someone from a musical outfit called Westminster Park. He is the sole representative tonight, but as he plays guitar and sings, that kind of works into a solo performance, which we're getting out of him tonight. Wow, it's even better now. It is, bored with the name Murphy, hence Murphy's Law, with that great moniker of a rock and roll name, Steve Murphy. It is Steve Murphy from Westminster Park in as tonight's guest on Barbershop Podcast. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Mine indeed. So, what is Steve Murphy's story, musically speaking? Talk about the early days, the early influences, when you started playing, what you loved about it.
I was a late bloomer playing. My older brothers both played in bands, but they were older brothers, so I wasn't allowed to touch their instruments. Yeah. And I started playing about when I was 18. I found some guitar books and learned some Grapes of Wrath songs, so I wanted to do finger picking. And then I just, played guitar since then. Been racking up a very big record collection. And then I met a beautiful lady that I call my wife, and when we met, she said she wanted to be a backup singer for Leonard Cohen, and I said, I want to be Leonard Cohen.
This is a happy coincidence.
And then I had a little bit of money back in 2003, put together a record. After that, just sort of went back to regular day jobs, and then around 2012, 2013-ish, I was talking to a friend, Brandon General, and he helped me record a second album, and then since then we've just been continuing on. We've now done our fourth full length and an EP last year.
So how would you describe your music to the casual observer? Someone comes up to you, just absolutely no idea. What kind of music do you play?
Really tough question.
Yeah.
I guess melancholic, idiosyncratic, very simple based, but with a lot of melody on top, and very personal.
Yeah, it's definitely gets you in the feels. Being a writer come natural to you, or is this a vexing procedure for you?
I love it. I've never kept a diary, and I'm generally a quiet person when in public, unless there's alcohol involved. But this gives me an avenue to actually voice my opinions on things and just maybe say things that I wouldn't normally say to someone face to face. So, or I can't afford a shrink, so I write songs, and hopefully, you always hope that someone has a connection with it and that they get it.
How's your view? We all kind of slug our way through this business. We have an understanding pretty early on that it's not going to be easy, and it's not necessarily the most sage path if you're looking for fame, riches, and glory. And yet,
wait a second, no. I thought there was fame and fortune right away.
You're still under that.
Oh yeah,
it's going to take a little while, but we do it for different reasons. But there has to be a part of you that really does that one day. You're going to arrive, but where you arrive doesn't necessarily have to be the top of a mountain, but it's a journey. Where's yours? You just want to take it a day to day because it sustains you somehow, or do you have a mission in mind?
A little of both. I guess my mission would be to one day have someone flip back and maybe discover the music and then have this great library of things to delve into, because I love that when you find a new artist that it's new to you. So maybe you've never heard Nick Drake before, or Nick Cave, or I just discovered Vashti Bunyan, a singer-songwriter from the 70s and 60s. And when you find someone that really speaks to you, but then it's not just one song or one album you can listen to, you can go back and hear their entire catalog. And that would be great. That'd be nice.
It's the binge watching, binge listening kind of world we live in now. So you've got 4 records. That's excellent opportunity. Why don't you start them off with something brand newish and live, which is what we love to do here. What are you going to lead off with tonight?
Sure. I'm going to start with a song called New Year's that my wife and I wrote the day after New Year's for 2016. And not that we had a particularly terrible New Year's, but I like the idea of someone not having a good one and realizing that that's okay. There'll be more days to come. You're still just yourself. And coming from London, Guy Lombardo is very big there. He's, like royalty. Yeah. And it was kind of fun to do a new version of a New Year's theme. So I'm going to try it with that one. It's New Year's.
All right. You're going to hear it right here, right now on barbershoppodcast.com.
Lights are on, somewhat twinkling. Drinks are strong to dull your thinking. The music's great, dressed to the nines. Convince yourself you're having a good time. Because it's New Year's, baby, it's New Year's. New Year's, just because it's New Year's. Don't expect something new. In the end, you're still you. Fractured lines of old lang syne. Just let that acquaintance die. Empty lips, you've missed the kiss to end the night. But still it's New Year. Baby, it's New Year's. New Year's, just because it's New Year's. Don't expect in the end, you're still you.
And that's Steve Murphy on Barbershop Podcast. Where else do you get this? Like, I'm talking to you. Where else do you get this? You don't get this anywhere but Barbershop Podcast. Over 200, and I'm thinking, Ryan, 237? That sounds like 236?
236.
This is episode number 236, and every one of them is great. And there is a story, there's a series of songs, there's an insight to someone who's given a huge chunk of their life to music, and obviously it gives back. And if you go to live music and experience a live music, you know what I'm talking about. There's a cycle that takes place between the audience and the performer, and I'm sure you'll attest to that, Steve, that once you experience that, you're changed forever. Like with the way pilots talk about the first time they fly, they're never going to be the same again. And it's like that when you feel that connection.
Right, and I think there's even steps to it. So there's the first time you play and there's a rush from that, but then there's the first time you play your best show, or at that time it's your best show, or then there's the first time you really connect with someone in the audience that you haven't known personally before, that it's someone who's hearing you for the first time, seeing you for the first time, and they really connect. And if you can have that sort of eye contact and notice that not only are they, just enjoying the melody and the song, but they're really listening to the words and connecting. It's absolutely fulfilling, and the way that I've always been a fan of music. Yeah. And you hope that when you're in the audience and you feel that connection, that there's that connection with the performer, and to be the performer doing that and knowing that there is a connection, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's really nice when there are venues that are headed by, owned by, piloted by individuals who are committed to that thought process, that art process. Music not being viewed as a commodity to be purchased like ketchup, napkins, other things you need at restaurants, or an evil necessity, and being able to charge $6 for a beer, but someone who actually understands that people want something a little bit more, and they'll come out and they will spend money and they will patronize and they will be loyal to a place that showcases, and I don't want to get arty-farty about it, right? I like a good time, but I understand that in a dearth of listening rooms, you need venues. And I know for someone who plays the type of music you play, it must be tough sometimes to get the array of venues that will support people who would be quiet and listen and absorb into a night of
Sure, absolutely.
entertainment.
And for the first while, we would play in any bar, and it's really tough sometimes when you're throwing your heart on the stage, and that's not what people are there for. And I don't think it has to be mutually exclusive, where you can't have a good time at a softish show, but when we have the full band together, there is a little bit more of an oomph to it, or at least maybe a little more grandeur. But there's definitely a tough time finding venues that will suit someone who isn't established yet as an artist, but who doesn't want to play covers, who maybe isn't just not always a singer songwriter, but a band trying to do something, and there seems to be a great void of venues that are open to that.
Yeah, or committed to it. They might dip their toe in the water. But if you do own a place and you're a fan of this show, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. And as you were saying, with a band, there must be just a powerful coming together, the way of setting the stage, making a mood. The band can do that with the spaces that they leave and the impact that they have. I imagine that everyone is very much on the same page in this musical project, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. And I've had a few different iterations of there's been a few different members come and go just for different reasons, but this is absolutely the best we've ever had. And this is the first album where it's really felt like everyone contributed, and we tried out a drummer who was just learning for the first time. She had never played, but now she plays drums and flute and harmonica, simultaneously on stage. She also did that fantastic artwork that you're holding up there, the cicada. And Melissa, she's been a fantastic addition to the band. And then an old friend of mine, Steve, he's Steve-O to keep us apart. And then my wife, of course, we have that connection, which is amazing. I'm not sure if many people have had the opportunity to be on stage with someone that they love, but seeing her, taking over a song when she sings lead, or just when I watch them having a great time, I wish sometimes that I could be facing them instead of in front.
Well, you know what? They're going to be thrilled with you standing up for the band and representing. But let's give the fans of Barbershop Podcast a taste of what you all sound like together. And the first one we're going to play is Lately. What do you want to tell us about that particular song? That
was written by my wife, Colleen. She sings lead vocals on it, and it was something that she had in her head for probably a few months. She had the melody in her head. She had the idea of the lyrics, and it was just a matter of coming together and getting the chords worked out. But it's she has these great, quirky lyrics that are a little bit personal, but she has great rhyming schemes, and I love when she sings lead on the songs. This is a great poppy tune of hers.
Good poppy tune, a great catchy tune. Westminster Park. This is Lately on BarbershopPodcast.com.
Tonight, figure out who's wrong or right. I don't want to fight with you anymore. I don't want to keep a score. No one's winning, that's for sure. I don't want to fight with you anymore. 'Cause lately we've both been feeling down. Upside down. I know we got bills to pay. They could wait for one more day. I just want to spend my time with you. Seems like once we pay the rent, nearly all the money's spent. Having fun with you's all overdue. And lately we've both been feeling down. Lately we've both been wearing frowns. And I say we hit this town, turn them upside down. We've already placed our bets, and I'm all in, got no regrets. I still think we've got a winning hand. So I don't want to fight tonight. Figure out who's wrong or right. I don't want to fight with you anymore.
That's Westminster Park out of London, Ontario. And that is Lately. And we've got principal of the band, Steve Murphy, in. We're talking about love life, lost trains, everything that's going on in the world. We're mentioning that we both resemble historical figures. Myself, Galileo, and you, Van Gogh. One of my favorite bipolars, along with Churchill, and myself, of course. You know, it's like the having the strength to go through the doldrums and the storms, and then having the fortitude to survive the transcendence into outer space when you have moments of incredible strength, inspiration, insight. It's a crazy, wonderful world, and I thank the arts, and I thank for people coming in every week. I've said this before. Makes me happy, keeps me sane. It's a pleasure for me as much as it is for anyone else to come in here, because I love music. I love music for what it is, and I'm passionate about it. I want to expose it to the people who maybe can't get out for one reason or another. And for those who can, that's no excuse, because it gets delivered right to you on YouTube or iTunes. Ryan, we got to get our iTunes caught up. It's going to teach me how to do that, and we will do that. But on many formats. Check us out, Barber Shop Podcast. Steve Murphy is in the house, and he's playing tunes off of his CD, but he's also playing stuff live. What's the process? Songwriting for you, does it come in dribs and drabs? Is it constant? Do you have lots of material all the time because you're in a creative, conducive relationship? Is it just a day-to-day thing? How's the writing going?
It ebbs and flows. I will have a month, maybe a year, where inspiration comes, and every either walk or bus ride to work or bike ride, every time I'm leaving the house or going somewhere and I have time to think, a song will come to me and lyrics, and I'll just try and dot everything down in my phone, or if I have any notepads, I'll just write things down. And I just try to write anything when the bug's there, when it's there and it's vibrant. I'll write anything down so that over the rest of the year, or however long it is until the next inspiration comes, I can sort of work through all the material and find out what's good, what's garbage. And sometimes a song will come to me all the way finished. Other times there's some that I had a point to make, so I struggled with those to make sure it's concise. I hate lyrics where, you know, the first verse is about one thing, the chorus is about something entirely different, and they're not speaking in metaphors about something about great unifier point. They're just rambling and trying to fill space. Yeah, I hate that. I think you know, if you're going to say something in a microphone, you should have a reason to say it.
Yeah, it's true. It's like bad tattoos. You know, come on, get it for a reason, make it count. And a lot of times songs remain undone because the first and second one are so great, and you can't leave that song with a stinker. In the end, you need something that lives up to the potential of what you started.
My neighbor's a songwriter also for a band called Broomsticks and Hammers. There you go, little plug for you, Bill.
Plug, Bill.
And we both say that, you know, the first verse, it's almost easy to write a great first verse. And the chorus, that's pretty good too. Second verse, that can get you stumped every time. It's getting that second verse.
Yeah. Because you know if it sucks, even though you soldier on, there's a part of you that died inside, that you let that live, right? This is a wonderful thing. I love about the candidacy, you know, because you have to be honest with yourself. You can't really be a deluded songwriter. Well, God knows there's lots of them, but you know, you know, you're not really a bummer, but you write about. Are you able to mine the happy times, or you just find that the more profound times come from painful reflections and things of such?
I found it easier to sing or write about the tougher times when I was younger. I guess I was a miserable child, so I was used to it. And, you know, you're right about your surroundings, and I guess I was miserable. As I've gotten older, though, I've been able to put my happiness into words also. There's one song I'll be playing a little bit later that my wife and I wrote. It's the first song we've ever wrote combined, where the lyrics and music were written simultaneously together. And it was a Sunday night. We were drinking some wine, and we wrote about the exact moment of drinking wine where you're having just a nice night, and I think it captures that. So I've definitely found it easier to write about the tough times. It's tough to say why you're happy. You know, you just wake up in a good mood and you don't know why, just on the right side of bed.
And you almost don't want to curse it, right? I don't want to start you know, because too many times I've just been in pure joy. I thought, oh, you know, I should be grabbing it because it's I think it's just harder to remember or to it just sounds. I remember I was talking to Ron Hines, and great Canadian songwriter, just recently died, and he was here, and I asked him about a love song. I said, I kind of have this one here, but it's a love song, and it's kind of sophomoric. And he looked at me, he goes, there's no such thing as a sophomoric love song. And I think that that's the key of it, that there's a goofiness and a real vulnerability and happiness and being in the early stages of love or something like that, about committing that to seeing it written down and somehow destroying the pixie dust that it's created out of.
Yeah, I like pixie dust. That's good.
Yeah.
But I guess what you always try to avoid is being cliche. And I think that's what's tough, is to be, talking about how sublime your day is without sounding cliche, without, uttering just, the same sentences that everyone's used,
Yeah.
Sunshine, I'm feeling fine.
And a great way, as you said, is to write a song. And that's my segue into the next live one. What are you going to do?
Okay. Since I have the capo sitting on the second fret here, I'm going to go with another personal sad song. And I don't often get to play it in bar settings, but I enjoy this song. It is for my father. He passed away from cancer, and I wrote this about taking care of him and our sort of stained, scarred relationship, as some people have with their fathers. And I don't know why I find it comforting, but I do.
Wonderful. I'm with you all the way. This is it. This is real. This is Steve Murphy singing something.
Sorry, it's Chance to Say Goodbye.
Chance to Say Goodbye on barbershoppodcast.com.
I wish I had said, like how it hurt when you left, and now I'll never get the chance young to die, too old to cry. Neither one of us ever got things right. Stayed so strong, kept your fight up for so long. How much morphine is enough? It kills your pain, can't keep you up. Too young to die, too old to cry. Neither one of us got a chance to say goodbye.
you can call that a soundscape that takes you away. That is a beautiful rendition of a heartfelt song, and I like to call that the personal universal. That's something, the father-son relationship, the fragility of life, how short life is, how we take things for granted so often, and in the struggle to get through an increasingly heartless, ugly world, it's easy to forget the beautiful, simple truths. We're made up of vibrating cells. This is a Tesla thing. We are literally created of sound. We vibrate at frequencies, and our gelatinous bodies carry with it a spirit that transcends the mere mechanics of humanity. And it's all bullshit in a plastic commercial world, but just maybe things can change, you know, just maybe there could be a connection. Maybe the ease in which we can cut ourselves off from humanity is also the ways we can connect to humanity. Someone you would never have otherwise heard from. Now you hear about them. Now you know about them because you saw them on a show. A show that gets shot in a basement in a house in Hamilton. But it's not a basement. It's a worldwide studio. Broadcasting right now in high definition and hi-fi. Real time. We're bouncing off satellites and stuff. You know, don't tell me you can't change things, but you have to stand up and you have to stand behind things. And you can't be a spectator forever. So if you enjoy music, drag someone out who's never been to a show. Drag some new meat out. I'm sick of the old meat that I see everywhere, and I'm sure every music scene is the same way. See the same 50, 100 people.
Go see someone you don't know.
Yeah. Go see someone you don't know. Exactly. I said, like, I've got maybe 1,000 LPs, and people will come over, they flip through, and most of us would pull out something, that we already own, right? That we already know, as opposed to, I have no idea what this is, put this on. And that's what we should be embracing. And that's what this show does, because I said to Steve, my Rolodex ran out after a year and a half, you know, and this is our 4th year doing this show. So I've met a whole bunch of people I never met before they walked in that door, and they're all great people. They're all great people. All right, I'm going to give a shout out to some other great people, namely our girl Heather over at Taxes Done Right. At some point, you're going to need your taxes done, either for next year because you're super anal about it, or you're an ass about it and you haven't done them yet, and you got to get them done and get them done right. Heather has all of her, legalization. She is checked out. She's been brought through the process. She passes the sniff test, and I can't tell you how many musicians, for example, because that's the world we live in. She is a creative herself, and she works with a lot of us to realize that there are investments that we make, and there are benefits that we can derive from our investments. Make sure that you're covered. She does our books here for the show in the studio. She can do your books too. The prices beat the hell out of anyone else out there, and it comes from Kevy. You can trust me. Tell her that you came, saw a Barbershop podcast. She might even shoot you an extra 5% off. Taxes Done Right. Check them out. There's the card. It should fit right in that. There we go. All right. Steve Murphy is a guest. He is a singer, songwriter in a band called Westminster Park. He is the lone representative who's come in, and we're going to play another one off of this. This has just come out, or it's about to come out?
This was just released digitally at the end of May, and we're doing the release extravaganza on July 29th in London, and it'll be available on CD and limited edition to 30 copies of vinyl, so that'll be out July 29th.
Ooh, the good stuff. And you can hear what it sounds like here. Nice sneak peek, and you can see the live experience, and you really do a good job of getting the essence of the song across. I'd love to hear you with the band. We're going to play one called And Again. What's this one about?
That one is, I guess, being uncomfortable in your skin or just anxiety.
Yeah.
And
it's coming back again.
Anxiety coming back. Yeah, it was originally called Caught Staring into Space. And it was one of those moments where I was on the bus and just drifting off. And at some point, someone had walked and sat directly across from me. And I have no idea how long they were sitting there, but I was staring at them.
Yeah, I do that all the time, too. I can ask anyone.
So the song sort of started from that. And I really love changing the way songs sound. So maybe the lyrics originally, I meant it to be, this one was more of a poppy tune. And then we changed it up and slowed it down, and now it's I don't know, got a different feel to it. Yeah, a little bit of a dirge to it. That's right.
I love it. All right, and again, and this is Westminster Park, and this is barbershoppodcast.com.
Caught staring into space again. Didn't mean to flirt or offend. Just lost in a thought, running endless in my head. I should have been a friend and maybe watched what I said instead of being an ass again. All these bad thoughts, try to get them out of my head. All these bad thoughts come back again, again, again. And again, and again, and again, and again, again and what I said and did, ashamed of myself again. I think I nearly lost a friend again. All these bad thoughts, try to get them out of my head.
That's another toe tapper there from Westminster Park. But we do love to go places, and we love the headspaces in your band and your writing. And you got to tell the people, when you came in, I nailed you right away. I said you were a Van Gogh, in real life. And we're just going to do a quick little pan down here. And lo and behold, it's a starry night. You have Van Gogh socks. Did you feel that you were embodying the spirit of the great Vincent van Gogh?
Very good pronunciation. No, they were a gift from my wife. There's a great place in London called Purple Moose Sock Company, and they have a million different socks. A lot of cursing on them, and then they have artist socks, and And
happiness starts with the feet. It's true. And when you get old, your feet turn on you, so you have to be on top of the game. I'll tell you that much. It's a war against your feet, men. Don't lose that one. All right, we're having fun tonight. We're having fun talking about music, mayhem, the writing experience, and you live, the life of not having a wife where music is the mistress, which happens in so many cases. And when it's the woman, it's the lover, it's like, it's so hard to be with someone and be so committed to what appears to be an abusive relationship to someone who doesn't understand. How much of a relief is this for you to continue to be able to work knowing you have full support with, your loved one?
Good question. I just absolutely love it. It gives us something to do. We, try to avoid watching TV, and you try and think, how are you going to pass your time? Well, we get to do it by making music in our basement, and it's what brought us together. You were talking about your vinyl collection. We also have, in the thousands also, and that's what we love to do with our time, is listen to music and to create something that can fit into that collection. It's amazing, and I love seeing her. She wasn't someone that loved the stage. Some people love the limelight, some people don't. But seeing, her find her own feet on stage and really start getting into it, it's
thrilling.
Yeah,
it
really is.
It's true. And when you go and you experience live music and you see the interaction, the kind of joy that's happening on stage, you are absolutely taken up in it. You're in no way is there a wall there. It's a symbiotic cell.
Euphoric. It's one of the best feelings. Being on stage when everything's clicking.
Yeah, and to be part and parcel of that. Get yourself out. Do some of that. Give them another taste of it. What are we going to play live next?
I was going to do another song that is from the record Brandon produced. Since he's here in the studio, I figured I'd do another one for him. This is about listening to records. It's called Records in My Room. And I was, like I said, I listened to Grapes of Wrath when I was younger, and I loved their song, All the Things I Wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I was a little bit of a sad kid, so I guess I was 7 years old, and that was my favorite song.
And for that to be a radio hit was great. It shows you how far radio has fallen even since those days, where you get a Canadian act. I think CanCon had a big part to do with it.
I'm sure, yeah.
But I remember when they came and played the Hudson here, I was thrilled. Even though it was a number of years after they'd had the hit, they were still writing. And songwriters, singer-songwriters. What's this one called?
This is called Records in My Room. And I guess in a way it's, my ode to them. And, they were a very big influence on my writing style. And I love songs that are talking about music or talking about records, even, Pearl Jam's Spin the Black Circle. I love when there's references.
Musical.
Yeah.
All right. This is a Barbershop Podcast, and you get a real taste of it. Some Steve Murphy right here, right now. Records in My Room on barbershoppodcast.com.
Listen to the records in my room, four walls to keep me safe. I listened to them till they were dull, listened till I knew every note as my own. But nothing seems so simple now. No songs seem so important. 'Cause with a record spinning in my head from singers old or dead, I'm not alone. Alone. And looking at the covers of everyone, the faces and names long forgotten. But that record spinning in my head from singers old or dead, when I'm home. Oh,
All right, and that's Barbershop Podcast, giving you the taste of Steve Murphy via Westminster Park. And that was a tune that was engineered and produced by Mr.
That one
Brendan P.
was
General.
recorded and produced by Mr. Brendan General. It was one of the ones that came out a couple of years ago. That album was called Dear Honored Listener.
Yeah, and he believed and he bought into you and he loved you and he told you so much, right?
He did, yeah.
It's so great to have those people. Remember, it sucks if you leave a club going, wow, that band was really good, without telling the band you were really good. You know, sometimes they're wondering, why the fuck do I do this? And that's all it takes. It's just doing a little investment.
Yeah, I've made a promise to myself to do that more often, not just in person, but I've been sending emails to people or on Twitter. It's a great way you can contact with someone. And I've had people reply saying, thanks so much. I really appreciate that, because you think a million people go up and talk to your favorite artists, but I think most people are afraid to really get out of their shell and say something.
Yeah. Yeah. And those who do find that there's a real human at the other end. And it's quite thrilling when you first start getting into music and a band from, Toronto or Montreal, come in and you start chatting with someone and you find out, you know what, they're just like me in so many ways. And chasing a dream. And that dream is just that I want to do music. It shouldn't be such a dream, but it still is. And people do it. They pursue it because they love it. And there's just enough when you say, hey, thanks for coming out, that they're going to come back. Do it again. Support your scene. Support your favorite bands. And support Barbershop Podcast. If you're watching this and loving this show, then share it. And join up. Subscribe. Whatever it takes. And start delving into some of the other artists on Barbershop Podcast that maybe you haven't heard of. I'm guaranteed you're going to like something, if not all of it. I do. I'm never disappointed. I never walk away going, oh, Jesus, that was a stinker. Everyone impresses. You've got a record. Mm-hmm. We still call them records because it is a record of your
There is a
art.
record, yes.
But there's 30 copies.
30
limited,
copies.
Super limited.
Right. We tried to make it as special a release as possible. So the vinyl comes with a lyric sheet, and then we've signed special photos that a friend of mine, Cindy O'Bairn, she did some great photos, and then Melissa, our drummer, she is great in Photoshop, and for the photo shoot we were wearing masks
Nice.
Different animal masks.
See,
for
yeah, no, I
metamorphosis.
saw that as one of the pictures you sent with no description, so I didn't touch that at the time, but it was a killer shot.
So the album has signed photos of those, and then I've hand carved. Each record is numbered, and there's a secret message on the inside. Because I love when records have a message or something written just before the label, and I think that's kind of special when records have those.
Everything's special in this day and age. I tell you, for people used to having free music coming off, downloading it, having a sweet investment is a cool thing. So, especially 30 copies, that's pretty rare, then some. You don't often get an opportunity. So this is, if you were one of the truly lucky ones, this is.
So there's I'm the bunny, my wife is the grasshopper, Steve-O is the vulture, and Melissa the horse.
Excellent. It is a treat to have Steve Murphy in playing and also spinning tunes off of this new release. Next one is Afraid of My Mind, and we are big advocates of mental health, producing records of mental health, speaking constantly of the need to embrace who you are and the imagination machine that is our minds. Tell us about Afraid of My Mind. What's this song represent?
You were right on the money, and it's something that I've struggled with my life, and this one I tried to make about overcoming the obstacles. So there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel in this one.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends or just musicians that you read about. Everyone's got their issues, something that they're trying to deal with.
You're certainly not alone. That's the thing to remember.
That's one of my favorite singers was Lou Reed, and that's one of my favorite quotes of his is, "It's very important that people don't feel alone,"
Yeah.
and I think that is important.
Yeah. All right. This is a treat. This is Afraid of My Mind. This is Westminster Park, barbershoppodcast.com.
Obsessed with fears and worries, I need music to set me free. Blowing the fog away, clearing the darkest days. Yeah. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of my mind. The doctor says take your medicine, but I don't like my new prescription. Comes with these side effects, two sides of the same coin, I guess. Yeah. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of my mind. Oh, 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 oh. just might need some help if you don't mind.
Beautiful thing, music, eh? So who are some of your big, like, let's say, grade 10?
Top 10?
Grade 10? No, grade 10, top 2, top 3. Grade 10. Because I always say grade 10 is kind of cool because you're 17. It's right before you you're 18 and you really start thinking you're an adult. So it's the last year of being a punk, you know?
Yeah.
So what was in that era, what were you listening to?
I think when I was in grade 10, I went through a lot of changes, and I probably liked the Lemonheads a lot, and Sloan, and No Effects.
What was your at that time radio? I guess you were still, most of us heard from radio, or did you have an older sibling or cool older friends who let you through your records?
Older siblings, and then we also had the university station in town, so there was always local acts being played. CHW is a great local station, but yeah, older brothers who each had their own sort of avenues that they went down. One was a little bit more straight ahead punk. The other one went a little more, I don't know, noisy rock, but still punky rocky. And growing up, my dad always had the Beatles and, you know, Irish tunes playing.
Yeah, gotta love it. That's all you need in life is the Beatles and some Irish tunes, and you're good to go.
So I think maybe that's where it all boils down to, is the mix of the Beatles, the Irish tunes, and then the punk.
Love it. All right. It's just a couple gingers sitting down having a good time, a couple beers. I got you a hiney there, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So I know in case it was getting time for a refill. You can do that on a podcast. You can have a beer, or in my case, a coffee.
Sure.
Yeah,
Not fooling anybody.
No, sure. So one of the great things about computers is memes, and one of the great memes is this cute little kid telling his mom, "Listen, Linda, listen," and he's telling his mom, and everyone howled about it because the kid's 3 years old, and he is he doesn't even know that he's being a character, but he's certainly playing it up hard, and that's the name of the last song we're going to play off of this CD that you brought in. How is your Listen, Linda relate? What is the theme of this song, Listen, Linda?
It was unintentionally inspired by that video. I was just out for a walk in my neighborhood, and there were some kids walking around screaming at each other going, "Listen, Linda, Linda, listen." And I thought, oh, that's really good. Listen, Linda, Linda, listen. I like how that sort of rhymes off. And then I just made up a song about someone telling their friend Linda to, get on with their life, to get up and go out and have a good time. Things that you would tell a friend. And it was 6 months maybe a year
later
that I finally saw the video, and it is fantastic. It's a great meme.
Yeah.
And for a moment, I looked at my wife and like, should I drop the song? I mean, but no, it's I love watching that video, and we've got some really nice responses from people who pick up on it right away. As soon as you say "Listen, Linda," everyone has their own impression of it, and it's a great time.
Yeah, it's like the game of telephone, except it's real life. Listen, Linda, right here on barbershoppodcast.com.
Listen, Linda, Linda, listen. You think you do, but you don't. You don't know Linda, listen. You think you do, but you don't. You're out for love and you ain't playing. Just be safe, I'm just saying. Don't get discouraged or lose your courage. Just come on out. 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 Come on out.
All right, that's Listen Linda off of Westminster Park, and we've had the pleasure of Steve Murphy from the band, telling us a story and singing some songs. And before we say goodnight tonight, we're going to have one more live one, and it's a bit of an Easter egg you were alluding to. Tell us about it. I almost got away with that. I almost made it. Go on.
Yeah, this is a song that on the album starts it all off. It's on the title, on the album, it's Metamorphosis, and it's an instrumental track. The lyrics,
Hence the artwork and the whole
right,
turning from one thing into another completely.
and a lot of that is about, turning into a maybe more positive person, but I also became obsessed with cicadas for a few months, and there's another song on there.
Yeah.
So I was really obsessed with Metamorphosis without being too Kafkaesque. And so this song just didn't quite fit in with the theme of the album. And I wanted to sort of take this opportunity to maybe get a recording of it.
So you're fleshing it out.
Yes, so these are the original lyrics and the original length of the song. So it might be a little rusty, it might be interesting. I'm going to have some fun.
I am looking forward to it. He is ready to go. This is the only recording ever of this song, and it is yours on barbershoppodcast.com.
Flipping through pictures of when we met, and your eyes like an ocean at the tide, but I don't know what to say. I don't know how to behave when you get that way. Who'd have thought all those years ago I was just a boy in a bar, and I said, "Who's that?" to a friend of mine. And after this time. I know it was right, and that's why it hurts when you're sad. I wanna take you away from your pain. I don't know how to behave. I don't know what to say when you get that way.
It lives. It's come to life. It is forever. The internet, where it is forever. Episode number 236. It can be done. You start with 1, and you go for 2, and you go for 3. And before you know it, you're at 236. Next week, 237 with Mr. Kyle Pacey. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you so much, Steve Murphy, for coming in, for Gary Greenland, Ryan Cannon, and Brendan, and Liv, and all of you out there in TV land. Thanks for coming out.